G'day everybody. Now that we believe collectively that we're more educated than ever, I want to talk about the Christian story of Jesus making the world in 7 days. Now when you're a caveman, right, you can believe such stories, true? When you're more simple when you're a kid. Is that right? That's right. Now, if you always stay a kid, you can grow up and be an adult. It doesn't mean you're an adult unless it means you can look after your responsibilities. You know the basics. That's what adults speak about. Even though collectively they can't do it. Isn't that amazing? Right? So I want to talk about God and all its creatures in the time before even humans, right? Because you've got to hear this to understand that you're not the center of the universe, the human creature. Right? And that actually all creatures are treated equal, like your fucking stupid Bible says. Now I say stupid Bible because if you give a big thick book that is hard to understand, math, science and all this shit to a child, it just becomes a stupid book, doesn't it? Because they don't know how to translate it. So you can have 1 million children and you give them a science sick book, right? They won't have to translate it in under 10. They won't, it's not going to happen. Otherwise, you have 10-year-olds running the world, right? They can't translate it. They've got to live the life. They've got to get the dead heart and all these things to get to the spot where then they know what a human is, right? And you know what a human is. I've talked about it before. Humans have actually turned themselves into God's worstest experiment. Now, God made things in 7 days. Now, I want to try to make sense of a 7-day thing today, what that might mean to a non-caveman, right? Now, 7 days. How could you make the world in 7 days where the human creature speaks about? That's the human creature's definition of God making the world in 7 days. Well, you can get a bit of DNA and you can make and mix it up, and then within 7 days a reaction can happen where you have a human growth happening, right? That's making life for that human, as it calls things life for itself, life in 7 days. It's not the planet. The planet's science, what you make your TVs out of and you actually run to. Oi, I'm talking about something important, devil. You need to get the fuck out of my energy. Thank you. Sorry I had to do that, people, but you'll understand more about that's about energy, right? And if you understand the energy truths of what humans speak about when it comes to energy, some dickhead, you have movies about it, can easily tap in and go, no, 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 with an animal, right? Doesn't mean they can control animals or tap into animals, that they're animal-loving people in any way. That's only their choice. Most of the time, humans would never choose a choice to look after something. It'll choose a choice to dominate it. Because that's human history. That's why God is going to get rid of them, in my opinion. Hopefully soon, because it's killing a lot of experiments, killing a lot of good things. Remember how I talked about that evil kills great things? That's what humans are doing. They've killed things, if you go back in your own history, wiped out forever because of their footprint. Animals that took millennia to get there, and humans killed them in 7 days. Right? So how could we fix this problem? So before humans, there was dinosaurs. I want to explain something to you. There was dinosaurs and all these other creatures. Now, your scientists talk about how long dinosaurs were around. They were around a long, 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 long time. Humans' lifespan and dinosaurs' lifespan is 1 minute out of hours. Less than that. That's how much time they got. And we're talking about the end of days already for us. You know why? We should. Because we're wrong. We're not nature. We're not connected into nature. You know how we keep getting told fucking that? We're just barbaric. We're not even like God. We think we're in the image of God, but we're the opposite image of God when you think about it. Fuck. God's like, fuck. My clone is nothing like me. Right? You hear people talk about that? Now, the world has been around a long, long time, and these animals come, and God created it not in 7 days, but in 7 billion days. But to God, it could feel like 7 days. You want to look at it in that kind of perspective. Right? But God created the virus in 7 days, like a human can too. Right? And God watched all these creatures grow and live and did their thing, and the balance was good. And He's seen naturally what happens if certain things were put in there, and the balance, like they got bigger, there was more dinosaurs that like to kill. The more that you had, more plenty of plenty. Right? And He watched that for a while. You learn that. You know how it all goes back to the source. So He doesn't need to learn these things anymore. Which is what I'm trying to tell you, because God technically doesn't need to repeat. He'll allow you dickheads to repeat a science experiment for so long. You know what I mean? Until you get your final conclusion that you can't help, you can't change this, can't do that. Right? Which is what humans' history so far, in our last 2,000 years of it that we've recorded, is showing. When we had a good chance of joining something, but we killed what was good, which is Jesus. Right? And then we're still in our sins because He could have taught us how to live with things that are good and have more of it instead of just kill it. But you killed it. You killed that guy, that creature, whatever you want to call Jesus. Right? You killed it. You did what humans are best at. And what are you doing today? What are you doing now? I know what my locals are doing. I've already talked about a story about how they kill a soul. Right? Because you kill what's good. There's no God that stops that from happening. You're the God. Every creature is its own God in the end. And it's a choice about what it wants around it. Does it want lots of friends? It makes that choice. Overlook in nature that none of them want to really technically attack you unless they really need to. You know what I mean? For food or self-defense. Other than that, you got a chance to hook up with every creature. And humans have already proved that. You can be friends with a lion. Definitely if you start from the start. And then if you have a whole bunch of those lions that have grown up with humans, you can do it all the time. You get it? But humans prefer to dominate that lion. Shoot it from a distance as you see that lion be brave coming at you as you shoot it because you're a fucking coward. Have you ever seen those clips? They make me cry. Hunters shooting lions. Gutless motherfuckers. Oh, I keep seeing those clips of that lion coming after you and you shoot it from a distance with a weapon of cowardness. And it's called that because you're not using it righteously. Right? I hope one day that lion doesn't die. Or before he dies, he gets that hunter and he tears his fucking body apart. And goes, you die with me, you piece of shit hunter, and your son can put your head and my head on the fucking wall. What do you reckon? But anyway, let's get back to the world before humans. Now, God went through all that experiment of the basic of the bullshit of how they get along or how they should get along. He knows that. That's why He made you, but He fucked up and He's going to make another one, right? To help Him out, to look after the creatures He made. He doesn't want them destroyed, that what's good and what functions. And then He comes a human with its fucking religion of money and greed and its selfishness, right? He wants the other creature like most of them were before this fucking human turned up. And He wants it to help, and it did it first. It's like a child. You know, human childs would explain our fucking problem, right? You know how they start learning, and when they're learning, they actually want to be good. Oh, I'll clean the first time they clean them. Then you reward them. Hey. Then after a while, they realise, hey, I don't have to do that to get these rewards from people like me. I can do these other things. And they stop cleaning. And then they choose to clean later. Again, if that's their path. But most don't. You know what I mean? You already explained as children. And you get older. And you still have the same issues. You can't even psychology yourselves out of it. All you use with psychology is to control and dominate to the ways that you want. That's your psychology out there. You don't have psychology about actual righteousness and what's wrong with you and why can't you not only be nice to your fellow friends, human virus, but also be nice to the animals. You get it? Your psychologists will only talk about the virus self. Think that there's something wrong because of the virus self hurting the virus self, right? And so what happened back then is God did a whole reset. Have we heard about that story where an asteroid come in? And He didn't mind that because when everything's running well and it's just like, oh, that's a little balance, And I've got my answers. Now, what happens if I do this? Is it time to something to have a change? That one looks like it had too much, got lucky and had too much domination. So I'm going to come in and go, take away a lot of the oxygen, a lot of this, like that. And I'm going to see what happens and see if things can relive again. I'll do that. Right? And everything will have a chance at the same time. That's how God works, wouldn't it be? Huh? And then we got us today after a few other thousands or millions of years, right, since that experiment. You think we're due for another one of that one? I don't think so. I think since that one, and now it's been way too short of a time, and if you find out something's wrong, you'll find out in usually a short of a time, huh? Which is humans, the virus. Right? And so you'd get rid of that, wouldn't you? You wouldn't do another complete reset, would you? You'd get rid of the problem that's causing a big issue that no other creature's really caused before. Right? And so what would the best way to get rid of this creature that acts like a virus? Guess what? Virus would be the best way to get rid of it. Because cool things about virus is they're a selfish creature and they pick and choose. Have you seen virus attack this thing and not that? It's a little bit like a human brain. It decided to pick the easy one at that time, kind of thing. I can invade this and do this. For now, I'm happy. I'll just stick with the human body. After a while, if it keeps invading me and I won't be happy, I might want to upgrade. Have you heard of that? Viruses. Human is a big version of that. Have you ever heard of small, medium, large versions of scales of similarity of what they end up being like? And why they're there? As far as I'm concerned, humans are best at, and their history has shown that until they change for now. You'd want to send a human to a planet like a Garden of Eden, and then they'll give you the Holy Bible. Over time, they take a little while. Viruses can take a while, can't they? Get them into a big host. Right? And they destroy planets. They make movies about planet killers, and look out. They're the planet killer collectively. And over time, they might not do it singly, but over time, once they get big enough in the power and their position and things they want, they become that planet killer again, collectively. That's like today, isn't it? And so the best way to have a reset, and I would, I guess it's maybe a kid's answer of what God might come up with, because we're in the image of God. We're going back onto the Bible here, right? That I reckon the best way to get rid of us would be a virus. The animals don't have to suffer anymore. You can get a virus that spreads around and wipes out all humans. Not the whole lot, right? I'm not even saying I have to do the whole lot yet, because like I said, with the time and he's patient, because we can actually fix a lot of our damage. Right? So if you get rid of a whole lot of this, keep the technology where they can handle it at the moment, right? And move on with that and have a restart. Maybe they might have to fix things. Or you get them to move on and have a restart. They do that, they fix things, but then they start relapsing. That's when you kill them again. That's when you come in and kill them. Yeah, well, at least they fixed it. Now they're relapsing. Now I'm going to kill them. You know, like they would say with a druggo. They got off drugs and then was working good. Now he's on drugs again. And then he says he's not going to get off it. You're not going to give him the job anymore, are you? All right? You're going to get rid of it. How many chances do you believe humans should have? What is a whole bunch of chances? I believe chances come with time on how much they change and do within that time to believe they can get another chance. And I believe humans burn up and kill things quite quickly. They've got the test where they've got their toys to fix things, and instead of fixing things, they're actually destroying things quicker. So that's what you would do too. You get to a point where you go, well, I'll give the humans these toys, the ability to fix things and see what they do. Because they've already gone too far. Go back in the 1900s, we've done a lot of damage before we really kicked in with technology, didn't we? No, and guys going, oh, well, I'll give them a toy, I'll give them a reward. Well, they believe that getting a reward, they believe they're doing right. If something rewards you, gives you a reward. Have you ever seen a parent reward someone or give something, and you go, why'd you give them that? Because they sort of need it. They're going to find out. I want to find out what he does after I give him candy after smacking that kid out. I'm going to tell him smacking that kid out was not good. And I hope you learn here's some candy. Do you think you're going to stop? Definitely to keep giving them candy? No. They're not. They're going to get worse. And then you hope that they stop, don't you? That's what free will is. You talk about God and there's free will. He's given you all free will, and you had free will to kill his son, free will to collectively follow each other. You're copycats. Humans are good copycats. Right? They're good at fearing their own selves. Right? That's why they don't step up in certain countries. Because humans are nasty, aren't you? If humans get everything they want, perhaps humans are best at slaves. You know what I mean? Because if you had such a creature and it doesn't get everything it wants, it can't be evil, can it? It's not as evil. So if you're going to have it around, like you say with Becca, you have to give them all these rules and control it. Isn't that sad? It is sad that when I talk about humans, it makes me upset. You know, lately I've been crying a lot because I get upset about about how we can't do nothing for small animals. And the pattern why that happened. Me just getting wild animals and looking after them. And now they get tumours and they're going to watch them suffer and all these things. And we've got the abilities to fix these things. But we can't. And I see that the more righteous I do, the more pain I get in this place. And I hate it. And now that I notice this, I start to go back to the human problem. Right? We've got a problem, and now we're making it worse as we're joining each other. Isn't that sad? But anyway, have a good one out there. You let me know what you think about what I just said. You might not care, you might be an atheist, or whatever. But I've chucked in a little bit of both there, of science and spirituality, right? Bit of a dry mouth there. Both in there to make sense both ways if you want it to. But you know what humans are best at? If it hurts and you don't want to answer it, just walk away. You know, they're a little bit like the ad where they go, if you don't like the animal, just leave it alone. If you can walk away, that's what that means. If you can walk away, leave it the fuck alone at least. But these people don't. They go follow the duck and harass it. Have a good one.